Hello, welcome to Cooking with Elaine. Tonight for dinner, I will be making street tacos. I will be using some smoked pork that I previously had smoked on the smoker. Was a pork shoulder, cooked it about 12 to 15 hours on the smoker, broke it all off of the bone, off of the shoulder bone. Take and break up your meat, and I packaged it in about 1 pound packages, froze it, and now I've defrosted it, so I have a package of it right here. Along with that, I'm going to be using these, I love this homemade style tortillas. This one is actually a hatch chili. I like it, it's a corn. I like corn tortillas for street tacos. I am going to be making black beans, whole black beans. It is canned, and I'm going to be adding some spices as always. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in a pan here. Alongside this tonight, I am going to be serving a cilantro lime rice. And yes, it's in a package, but it's going to taste good. So let's get started on cooking. So let's get these beans in the pan here. And now I'm going to add some seasoning to these. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of onion powder. I like the powders over the salts because I like to add salt itself. If you like garlic salt or garlic powder, you can use that. I'm going to add a little bit of table salt here. And then the thing that really is going to set off our beans is some ground cumin. So I'm going to add a little bit of ground cumin, just 3 or 4 little shakes here. And then I'm going to get these beans started on low. So I'm going to set these on low. I'm going to put the lid on them, and I'm just going to let them cook while I'm doing everything else. So first thing I want to do is I have about, a tablespoon or so of oil heating in my pan here. I'm going to turn it up a little more. I like to get a little bit of a char on the meat. It just gives it more flavor, texture, things like that. So I'm going to grab a knife here, and I'm going to cut up the meat into bite-sized pieces because it's in kind of large chunks right now. And then I'm going to fry it up in this pan. So I'm going to slice everything up here. Once that oil's good and hot, get it in there browning. Now when I'm cutting up meat, I use my plastic boards because I can wash them in the dishwasher. I don't like to use a wooden cutting board. I use my wooden cutting board for my vegetables. I don't want the meat on the same board. It's just my thing. So I do have a meat carving board, but that's a little bit different. That's for when I have cooked meats. So let's see here. Yep, okay, I can feel my pan. I feel some good heat. So I'm going to take a piece of the meat, put it in here, see if I have any sizzle. Okay, see, not much of a sizzle, so I want it to get a little bit hotter. Just let that keep working. As soon as I see it start getting see, now I can hear it. I can hear the sizzle. So there we go. We're getting there. Good job. Okay. So and like I said, this is already smoked meat, so it's basically cooked. I just like to get some char on it, and then I'm going to add a package of taco seasoning and just let it kind of cook and absorb all of the flavors. All right, so right now I'm going to go over here and wash my hands. So while that's cooking, looking good, add a little bit, of seasoning on this also. I could add a little of the garlic powder because I did not season the meat when it was smoked. So a little bit of onion powder. Okay, very good. And then I'm going to be using the McCormick's Original Taco Seasoning here tonight, just to give it that flavor. So I've got this going. You can hear it sizzling, just to get it browned up a little bit. I'm going to clean up my knife here because I've been cutting meat with it, so I don't want to cut anything else without cleaning my knife off. So there we go. Get my knife all nice and clean. Okay, now in order for it to be street tacos, What I also need, I need white onion, I need some cilantro, and I need limes. So I'm going to grab all those items out of the refrigerator. Here is my white onion. I'm going to grab out some limes, 2 beautiful limes here. And I'm going to grab some fresh cilantro. There we go. Beautiful fresh cilantro. So, now while my meat's cooking, I can prep all of my other items that I'm going to need to put my tacos together later. See, I'm starting to smell the smell of the meat starting to come off of there, so I know it's getting good and hot, getting crunchy. So for my limes, I'm going to grab my little bowls here and grab a paring knife. I'm going to take the limes, I'm going to rinse them so I can get anything that's on them off. Then I'm going to take these limes and I'm going to cut them up, quarter them up, put on my glasses here. So, cut them in half, cut them in quarters. And like this one, these are pretty good. Okay. Now this one, I'm actually going to cut into 8ths. Just so we have a little smaller, if somebody wants a little less lime. There we go. Okay, so put that aside for later. Okay, so now I have my limes. Very good. Okay, now I'm going to take my white onion. I'm going to dice it up. Now you can do this small if you don't like, that bold onion flavor, but with street tacos, I think you kind of need it. So I'm going to leave my slices fairly large. I'm not going to be too big, but I just want so that when you sprinkle it across the top of your taco, when you get a mouthful, you take a bite, you know you've gotten some onion there. Okay, so the meat's looking good. I just want to keep stirring it every now and again. Okay, I'm going to turn it up just a little bit more. Now, the char on your meat depends on how much you would like it charred. I like it just a little bit of brown, a little bit of crunchiness around the edges. Now, a lot of people like it really charred, not burnt, but of course charred because it gives it more crunch. So it's kind of how you like to do your meat. I prefer just to get mine browned up on the edges, so I'm going to let it keep going here. Now I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to start working on this onion. Get it cut. So. I'm just going to do this. And I'm only making 4 tacos tonight, 2 for myself, 2 for my husband. So I don't have a lot of onion here. I don't need a lot of onion. This is about 1/4 of a very large white onion. Okay, now that I have it, now I'm going to run my knife through it just a little bit more. Just to cut it up just a little bit finer. On making street tacos, if you don't happen to have, like I have smoked pork available, but if you don't have that, and let's say you had some leftover tri-tip, you could use that. If you had some leftover steak, let's say you had like New York steaks or T-bone steaks, you could use that. If you had some London broil, you can use that. It's kind of what you want to use, the type of meat. I'm using pork just because I have the pork, and my husband and I both really like the smoked pork in street tacos. So, as you can see, see that coming off there? We're getting some good char on this. Making it all nice and crunchy. All those little bits and pieces are sure going to taste good. So I'm going to let that go a little bit more. Now I'm going to take my cilantro. And all I'm going to do is just chop up this cilantro. I don't use the stems, but some people do. Some people like to use all of it. That's kind of a personal choice for you, whatever you'd like to do. So I'm personally going to take and cut the ends off here because I don't use them. All right, move this knife out of my way. Come over here, and then I'm just going to start chopping. That smells so good. And I know some people don't like cilantro, but to me, you can't really have a street taco without having cilantro. So if you don't like cilantro, just skip this. If you want something for some crunch, just use some lettuce on it. I mean, or, oh, you know what would be good also? If you had a little bit of cabbage, you could shred up some cabbage. Actually do like a quick pickle on the cabbage and then add that to your tacos. That would be great. Especially with the pork, because that would help cut through some of the fat, you know, the flavor of the fat. So that would be good also. But my husband and I both love cilantro, so we think it's very good. So, all right, let's come back over here to the meat. Oh, yeah, now see, oh my gosh, getting some good browning on that right now. Looking really, really good. Okay. Right, so basically what I'm going to do is follow the directions on the back of this McCormick's taco seasoning to add flavor to my meat. So it says here, of course it's already browned, and stir, put in water and the mix. So how much water do I need? 3/4 of a cup of water. Okay, so that sounds good. So I'm going to get 3/4 of a cup of water. There we go. All right. Oh man, this is looking good and brown. Really, really good. So, let me bring you over here so you can see here a little better. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to show you the meat. There you go. Look at that. Look at how brown that looks. That's looking good. Okay. So put this back on the fire here. Looking really, really good. All these little brown bits and pieces. So now I'm going to take and open up this taco sauce. I'm going to sprinkle this in. And the reason I use the package, because it has all the seasonings that you need. It has all the seasoning you need for it to taste like tacos, right? And it's easy, it's convenient. So now I'm going to take the 3/4 of a cup of water. There we go. Put that in. Get over here and stir this because I want all of that seasoning mix to combine with the water. Oh, that smells so good. Okay. Oh, that's looking so good. Okay. So now it's at a nice bubble. So now I'm going to take and turn it down. I'm going to turn it down to, I have an electric stove. I'm going to put it at about 4 just so it still keeps simmering. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to go grab a lid for this pan over here. I'm going to cover it. And I'm just going to let that simmer. I want all of those flavors to get into that meat, and I want it to dry a little bit. So I want it to absorb, of course, the liquid. So now I'm going to take a look here at my beans. They're coming along nicely. Grab a spoon here and stir them up. Yeah, looking good. And on I like canned black beans. I think they're wonderful. And I feel, though, you have to cook them a little while on the stove. I mean, you can just dump them out, heat them up, and eat them. But for some reason, I personally like to cook them a little, you know, for a while here. And also to get all the seasonings that I put in it, I want it to get in there. But I also just want them cooked really thoroughly. So also I have out my griddle because I want to just brown up my tortillas when I'm all ready to start assembling. I like to just brown my tortillas on both sides, get a little bit. Now again, kind of like your meat, some people really like to char their tortillas. They like that flavor. I don't. I think it tastes kind of bitter when you get a tortilla too dark. So I like to just heat them up, get a little bit of brown on it. And as I said, these are corn tortillas, so it doesn't need a whole lot. So let's get these opened here. We're not ready to start cooking those yet. I'm gonna have to let this meat, I'm gonna say letting this meat cook a good 15, 20 minutes, if not more, because I wanna make sure, like I said, I want the flavors to go through my meat. I want most of this liquid to be absorbed. I don't want it to be too runny. So, let's see, as I'm stirring it, and I check back often on this. Oh yeah. So there we go. All right, my beans are looking good. I might turn those up just a little bit. Nice little simmer on those wouldn't hurt. Now tonight as my side dish, yes, I am using a pre-packaged rice. I'm using this Royal Cilantro Lime. It's a basmati rice. It has good flavor to it. So I don't see why I should spend time on, 45 minutes on making rice when this is so good. And I don't think that I could make cilantro lime rice this good. So this is one of those, you just break it up in the package. You slit it on both sides. When you're ready, you just stick it in the microwave for 90 seconds and you're ready to go. Now the one thing that I will do before I serve this, I will add some fresh lime to it because I think it gives it a little more of that freshness by squeezing lime onto it. So that's what we're gonna do, but for right now, we'll just set that aside and keep going here. So let's check our cilantro is all nice and chopped up. Yeah, so now we'll get out our plates for plating. Okay, so now, I have these little gadgets here. So I have these little gadgets here that are taco holders, and I really like using them. So I just use a small dinner plate, a salad plate if you would, because one fits perfectly on there. And so I can put 2 tacos on here, and then I can put beans and rice on another plate. You can plate it all on one plate. If you don't have the little taco holders, you can use just a plate. But as you know, with a street taco, you're not frying the shell hard, so they don't stand up or anything. It would just be wide open on your plate, which is good. That's how they serve it in a restaurant. I just think this makes it a little neater and easier to eat. So you can get these on Amazon. They're not that expensive. So, all right. And another thing I'm going to need when I start assembling is I'm going to need some picante sauce. So I'm just going to use a little jarred picante, paste picante sauce. Use whatever you like. You can buy the fresh salsa, at the deli. You can make your own. But again, my style of cooking is I buy things that are pre-done. Some of my stuff I make completely from scratch, but a lot of it I just add to it. So it makes it a home-cooked meal, but I'm not spending hours and hours and days preparing one meal. So that's just my philosophy, and that's what I'm trying to bring across to you. Again, if you want to make your own salsa, please, by all means do. But for me, this is just faster and it's good. So we're looking good here with the meat. It's cooking. The liquid is absorbing, so we're looking really good. Let's see our beans. Oh yeah, they're at a nice little simmer. Oh, they smell good. You can really smell that ground cumin in there. Oh, yes. Very, very good. I love it. I love it. All right. So, all right. So, I'm going to start getting my griddle warmed up just because I don't want to have to go from ice cold here. And I don't put any grease on here. Now, if I were frying up flour tortillas for just regular tacos, I would have grease on here, but I don't like to with these. With these corn tortillas, like I said, I just want to turn them on both sides. I want to get them a little bit brown, you'll see, and then I want to lay them in my taco holders and start filling them. So I don't brown them up, or put oil on here. There's no need to, and it saves on calories. Oil's not that great for you, so That's a savings right there, and every little bit helps right for dessert later. So anyway, so I'm just going to keep cooking here. I've got this meat going. It's looking fantastic. I'm going to need a set of tongs to serve my meat so I can get it and put it into the taco shell. So I do like to use these because it just, you can pick up what you want, kind of place it in there. So let's see, while I'm doing other things here, while stuff is cooking, let's get some scissors and open up this rice. It says to open it on both sides here, so that's fine. All right, then we can put that in the microwave when we're ready. We need to get a bowl out for that so I can dump it, and then I can add the lime across the top, stir it a little bit, and I'm telling you, it'll make it taste much fresher. And that's always a good thing. You know, when you're using something that's packaged, you can add fresh herbs to it, spices, lemon, lime, you know, hot sauce, a vinegar, all kinds of things that will add to that. So it's kind of a personal preference, and the more you cook, the more you'll learn how to do these things. It, you know, it's kind of your personal preference, how you like it. So that's always a good thing. You know, like I don't like my food overly spicy, but my husband does. So I always have a jalapeno, a Fresno, a Serrano, some type of a chili for him that he eats alongside his food. He'll chop it up and add it to his food because I don't like any of that, so I don't like to have that. But I don't take offense that he wants his food spicier. It's not that my food doesn't taste good to him, it's just he thinks that it needs a little more spice, and I don't. So I think this spice is enough for me with the onions, the cilantro, the picante, the lime. I'm good. But you know, again, it's your own preference. I use a medium picante sauce. You might like hot salsa. You might want mild. I mean, it's whatever you like, and what I always say is whatever I have in the refrigerator already. I want to use it up. I don't run down to the store and, you know, pick up something brand new just to have with this one meal. So anyway, let me check this meat again. Yeah, this is looking really good. Yeah, this is really starting to absorb all that liquid. Really, really good. Okay, let me grab a paper towel there. White light grill here. And again, I have no oil on my grill. You know, on my griddle, I don't want any oil on it. If you wanted your shells harder, you know, crunchy, you could do that, but I just prefer just to brown them up. Okay, these beans are really boiling now, so I'm going to take these and turn them down and put them on about a 2, because I just want to keep them simmering just to keep them warm. No, you know, we don't need to overdo now. Now that they're cooked, should be really good to go. So let's see here. Just waiting on the meat, and then I will be able to assemble and show you what our finished product is going to look like. Somehow my stove just got turned down. I must have hit the wrong button there. So I had it from an 8, now it's down to a 4. So I turned it back up to 8. Like I said, I want to get this liquid absorbed in here. So we got it going again. Now it's going really well. So I'm going to keep it on about 7 right now. Okay. Really good, smelling delicious. So. And I like to keep stirring it, I don't want anything to stick. I want all the flavors to get through it. Helps absorb more of that liquid. And now it's looking pretty good. About 3/4 of the liquid is absorbed. So I'm going to take the lid off for now. I'm going to set this aside. And I'm just going to let it keep cooking and keep my eye on it. Excuse me. Let me get a little drink of water here. Sorry. So as I was saying earlier, As far as your meat for using meat for the street tacos, it's whatever you have on hand. You know, you could even have some pork chops left over and take the pork chops, cut it really thin, put it in a pan, cook it with some sauce. You could use that easily, just like you could the steak. A roast, if you had some roast beef left over, shred it up, put it in your pan, brown it just a little bit to get some of that crunchiness in it, you know, some of the little brown bits. Put the seasoning in there, let it cook. Wonderful street tacos out of shredded beef. Oh my gosh, very good. So, you know, there's different ways. There are times when I will do chicken for a street taco. And what I like to do there is I use chicken thighs, boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I think they have the most flavor. So I take that, dice it up, fry it in a frying pan with a little bit of oil. Then once it's fried up, add again some type of taco seasoning, whatever you prefer. Let it cook down, and then you just fill your corn tortillas. You add your cilantro, you add your, you know, onion. Now, when I make street tacos, I don't add cheese to them. You know, if you've ever had a street taco, they don't come with cheese. So if I make a regular, what I call old-fashioned taco, yes, I use cheese on it. But when I do street tacos, I don't use any cheese. Now, if you want to use cheese, that's on you because, you know, eat what you like. Cook the way you want to eat. And it all happens with trial and error. You know, you could try it and go, cheese is okay, or nah, I really didn't like the cheese. So, again, try different things. That's how you learn what you like and what you don't like, what you want to make for dinner. So, this is looking fantastic here. Most of my liquid is all absorbed, so that's good. Let's see here. Yes, my griddle is getting hot. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch out my pans. I'm going to put my meat on the smaller burner. I'm going to move my griddle to my center larger burner. Okay, so I've got the meat now just sitting at about a 4 because I just want it to simmer. So again, keep it hot while I'm working. Then I want to make sure this griddle, I've got it at 7. I want to get it good and hot. And then I want to get out a couple of my tortillas here. Okay. So, I'm going to take these tortillas, I'm going to put them down. Now, while those are browning up, I'm going to get this rice going. So I'm going to take and put it in the microwave for 90 seconds. There we go. So let's come on back over here. Now, we have our tongs that we're going to use for our meat. We're also going to use it for our tortillas so we don't burn our fingers, right? So let's get this going here. And like I said, I want them to just have a little bit of brown on them right now. I'll show you one that comes straight out of the package. Straight out of the package, you know, see there's no brown on it really. It's just the corn. So I'm going to get it just browned up enough so that we can use it. I can already start to see some of it browning. Beautiful. And again, if you want yours, you know, a little more like charred, or you don't want them at all, you can just cook with them like this. You can just take them out of the package and stick your meat in. You don't have to brown them at all. You can just use them straight out of the package. I prefer to, I'm going to turn my beans off here, but I prefer to brown mine slightly. I'm going to turn these beans off because they're good. They're ready to go. So I've just shut them down. The lid's still on them. They'll stay warm. I'm going to turn my griddle up to about 8. I'm getting some browning, but I'd like a little more. So let's do that. Let's get that on there a little bit more. Ah, microwave's done. So let's go grab this rice. And you're going to want to be very careful because it's very hot. You want to grab it by the sides here. So I'm just going to let it sit here until I'm ready because I don't want it to get too cold. I'm going to come back over here. Oh yeah, now see, here we go. Yep, I'm getting some brown marks on my tortillas, so I'm getting where I want to go. Fantastic. Stir this meat again. Oh yeah. Now can you see that? You see those brown marks right there? That's how I like it. I don't want it overdone, but I do want that brown. Oh, it's looking beautiful. So now I'm going to take them and put them into my holders. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so now I'm going to take this rice. I'm going to continue pulling off the top here. I'm going to put this in a bowl, and I'm just going to stir it up a little bit. Okay. And there we go. Separate all my rice. I'm going to take a little bit of this fresh lime. It's going to take one of these little quarters, and I'm just going to squeeze it over my rice. Not a lot, just enough to give it some zip. So I've got that. I'm going to stir the rice around. There we go. Oh, that smells so good. All right, okay. So now I have my tortillas in my holder. I'm going to come over here. I am going to get some of the meat. Take my tongs here. I am going to grab some meat. Oh, yeah. Okay, and I like to fill them pretty generously. Okay, now I'm going to come over here. I am going to get some salsa. Put a layer of salsa down. There we go. Okay, I'm going to take some cilantro. I'm going to top each of them with some cilantro. As I said, we both really enjoy cilantro, so I am going to put quite a bit. I'm going to take these diced white onions. I'm going to put that on top. And then the only other thing I have to do is I'm going to plate up rice and beans. But let me show you this. So, until we cook together again, this is what's for dinner. Enjoy. Bye.